Hello and welcome to This Week in Destiny for the 11th week of Season 19, Season of the Seraph, commencing February 14th, 2023. Kicking things off this week with our Legacy rotation, we have the Loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on Week 3's rotation, with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Lightkin armor set being available. The weapons available this week are the Kinetic Rapid Fire Frame Auto Rifle Chroma Rush, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Grenade Launcher Ignition Code, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Pulse Rifle Grid Skipper, the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Farewell, the Solar Pinpoint Slug Frame Shotgun Sonja's Tail, the Void Rapid Fire Frame Machine Gun Shattered Cipher, the Arc Precision Frame Fusion Rifle Main Ingredient, the Kinetic Adaptive Frame Sniper Rifle Long Shadow, the Arc Omolon Adaptive Frame Sidearm Last Dance, the Kinetic Aggressive Frame Shotgun Toil and Trouble, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Shotgun Wishbringer, and the Void Adaptive Frame Pulse Rifle Last Perdition.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
On Europa this week, Gridis, the Dark Priestess, will be the Empire Hunt, Eventide Ruins will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Survival. On the Moon, the weekly story mission should be Beyond. The Trove Guardian is located in Archer's Line. The Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Zortal in Sorrow's Harbour. The Nightmare hunts this week should be Crota, Despair, Omnigul, Anguish, and the Fanatic, Insanity. The Dreaming City this week is at a weak curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Strand, and has the Broken Courier mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Scorn enemies and the Plagues, Sicarus and Varus, with the Aganon's Abyss being the Ascendant challenge located in the Bay of Drowning Wishes Lost Sector. In addition, the weekly Throne World reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drops for the Wellspring activity, Preservation mission, and the Vox Obscura replayable exotic mission, plus the new exotic mission Operation Seraph Shield in the Helm. The Witch Queen weekly story mission is the Cunning, where the modifier is Scorched Earth, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. The King's Fall raid challenge this week is the second encounter War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the Brand of the Initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the Brand Claimer's buff. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the fourth encounter Rorke, called Looping Catalyst. This is where Guardians must not lose the Leeching Force before the damage phase. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the third encounter, Templar, called Out of Its Way, where you must keep the Templar from teleporting. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the second encounter, Atrax 1, called Copies of Copies, where you must not send any Atrax 1 replicant debuffs into the airlock/space. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the fourth encounter, Sanctified Mind, called 0 to 100. Where you must fully fill each conflux with 30 motes within 10 seconds of initially banking the first set of motes. Your Pinnacle raid will be the Last Wish over on the Dreaming City, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Kali, called Summoning Ritual. Players must activate and cleanse all 9 plates, then kill all 9 knights and ogres before damaging Kali. The second encounter, Shirochi, called Witch Witch. Guardians must not get hit or take damage from Shirochi's Arc Blast. The third encounter, Morgoth, called Forever Fight. Players must not kill the smaller ogres during the encounter. The fourth encounter, Vault, called Keep Out. Guardians must ensure that no Might of Riven Knights make it to the center chamber during the Vault fight. And the fifth encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory, where Guardians must not shoot the same Riven Eye twice. Also, with the Last Wish being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic fusion rifle, 1000 Voices. And the Pinnacle dungeon for this week will be the Shattered Throne, over on the Dreaming City. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 75 challenges over the first 10 weeks of the season. So, as a reminder, if you complete 72 out of the 75, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Here's a few that you might have missed that you might want to get completed in the next 2 weeks. Week 8 challenge for Trials of Osiris. Win 20 rounds in Trials of Osiris for a Trials weapon, Challenge XP++, and Bright Dust. Week 3's challenge for Team Scorched. Defeat 40 Guardians in Team Scorch for Challenge XP Plus and Bright Dust. Week 6's challenge to acquire the Crucible Velocex Pulse Rifle Ornament for Challenge XP Plus and Bright Dust. Week 8's challenge to acquire the Gambit Velocex Pulse Rifle Ornament for Challenge XP Plus and Bright Dust. And Week 10's challenge, Vanguard Ornament. Acquire the Vanguard Ornament for the Velocex Ritual Pulse Rifle for Challenge XP Plus and Bright Dust. And speaking of Bright Dust, we have our Eververse for the week of February 14th, 2023. Available this week for Bright Dust, we have the Rolling Rulebook Legendary Emote for 700 Bright Dust. The Redline Shell Exotic Ghost Shell for 2850 Bright Dust. The Daito Capsule Entrance Legendary Transmat Effect for 450 Bright Dust. The Boreal Shah Legendary Shader for 300 Bright Dust. The Trailing Pyrotechnics Exotic Emote will be available for 3250 Bright Dust. The Wall Sneak Rare Emote for 400 Bright Dust. The Open Sky Tura Exotic Sparrow for 2500 Bright Dust. The Dynamo Current Vest Ornament for the Hunters. The Thunderous Impact Plate Ornament for the Titans. And the Arc-like Robes Ornament for the Warlocks, each for 1200 Bright Dust. The 8000 Ornament for the Hunter Exotic Boots, the Frosties. The Merrin's Odyssey Ornament for the Titan Exotic Boots, Dune Marchers. And the Endothermia Ornament for the Warlock Exotic Gauntlets, the Osmiomancy Gloves, each for 1500 Bright Dust. The Solar Astrolabe Exotic Weapon Ornament for the Tiku Divination Exotic Bow for 1250 Bright Dust. And finally, the Tetrahedron Legendary Ghost Projection for 1500 Bright Dust. Hello! As a reminder, your daily Legendary Lost Sector will show you a flag outside, which will give you details of champions and burns you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or you are using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the Lost Sector normally to have it show up on your map as a Legend/Master. Tuesday, February 14th will be Bunker E15 on Europa for Exotic Boots, Void Elemental Shields, Void Burn with Overload and Barrier Champions. Wednesday, February 15th will be the Concealed Void on Europa for Exotic Gauntlets, Solar and Void Elemental Shields, Solar Burn with Overload and Barrier Champions. Thursday, February 16th will be Perdition on Europa for Exotic Chests, Arc and Void Elemental Shields, Arc Burn with Overload and Barrier Champions. Friday, February 17th will be Sepulture on the Throne World for Exotic Helmets, Solar and Arc Elemental Shields with a Solar Burn, Unstoppable and Barrier Champions. Saturday, February 18th will be Extraction on the Throne World for Exotic Boots, Arc and Void Elemental Shields and Arc Burn with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. Sunday, February 19th will be the Chamber of Starlight on the Dreaming City for Exotic Gauntlets, Solar and Void Elemental Shields, Solar Burn with Overload and Unstoppable Champions. And finally, back round to Monday, February 20th, will be the Aphelions Rest on the Dreaming City for Exotic Chests, Void Elemental Shields, Stasis Burn with Unstoppable and Overload Champions.
Lead the way.
Our 11th featured Nightfall will see us face off against Belmont in the Glassway over on Europa, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 100k or more. This Nightfall will require you to own the Beyond Light expansion to play. You'll be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, Ascendant shards, and adept mods. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with Ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 7 barrier and 8 overload champions, with 3 solar, 5 void, and 12 arc shields. Masters and GMs will have 12 barrier and 14 overload, with 3 solar and 8 arc shields. Your adept Nightfall modifiers will be Scorched Earth, enemies throw grenades significantly more often, Acute Void Burn, plus 25% void damage dealt and plus 50% void damage received. Hero modifiers include all previous modifiers. Champion's Foe. You will face barrier and overload champions. You can either use intrinsic exotics or equip anti-champion mods to your armor to defeat them. These mods come from the seasonal artifact. And extra shields. Legend modifiers include all previous modifiers. Equipment locked. You will not be able to change your equipment after the activity starts. Match game. Enemy shields are highly resistant to all unmatched elemental damage. Arachno. Dead Vandals spawn web mines. Belmont's algorithm. Incoming void and aerial damage is increased. Master modifiers include all previous modifiers. Togetherness. Base health regen is reduced. If near another player, health regen is increased. Champions Mob. This mode contains additional champions. And Grandmaster modifiers. Limited revives. Gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Join in progress is disabled. And Extinguish. If your fire team falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Your Grandmaster modifiers do not include Pestilence, Togetherness, and Ashes to Ashes. But your anti-champion artifact mods for this week's Nightfall are Anti-Barrier Bow and Pulse for 1 energy, Overload Scout Rifle, Submachine Gun, Auto Rifle, and the grenade mod Lord Kelvin's Basilisk, where Void and Stasis grenades disrupt overloads, all for 1 energy. You also have exotic weapons and armor that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For anti-barrier, the kinetic bow Wishender, the kinetic linear fusion rifle Arbalest, the new kinetic pulse rifle Revision 0, the solar energy hand cannon Ariana's Vow, the solar heavy sword the Lament, and the Titan exotic gauntlets Second Chance, which gain a second charge of your shield throw melee, which becomes shield piercing and stuns barrier champions. For overload, the void energy bow Le Monarch, the arc energy linear trace rifle Divinity, the arc heavy machine gun Thunderlord, and the warlock exotic boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an empowering rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an overload champion to be stunned. The Nightfall featured weapon to obtain this week will be the kinetic hand cannon, the DFA. The DFA is an adaptive frame hand cannon with a base impact of 84, range of 45 and stability of 54. It can roll with timed payload, Vorpal and opening shot, with Outlaw, Tunnel Vision and Perpetual Motion. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improve your recovery for a short duration. And a Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. Next up, Lord Shaxx brings Mayhem to the featured Crucible playlist for the 11th week of the season.
Delightful!
Mayhem is where 2 teams of 6 players go head to head in a clash type mode. With a time limit of 10 minutes, the first team to get 125 eliminations is the winner. Abilities and supers charge at an extremely faster rate than usual. Respawns are instant and power ammo spawns are also much faster than usual. Also, Saint 14 returns at the weekend for Trials of Osiris. As a reminder, Trials of Osiris is a 3v3 PvP high stakes variant of elimination. Only available from Friday reset until Tuesday weekly reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials will grant exclusive weapons, armour, Pinnacle gear, Masterwork materials, and even Adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the Lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you that match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 Pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
Before you go, if you've enjoyed this content and found it most informative, then please hit that subscribe button and check out our show over at twotitansandahunter.com. We would be greatly appreciative. But before you go, we do have a few more things to go over for this week. This week we'll see the season finale event for Season of the Seraph, where players who own the season pass and have completed the More Than a Weapon quest will gain access automatically upon login. Double rewards return to the Nightfalls this week, so if you want more of the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms and Ascendant shards, then this would be a good week to get farming and stocking up for Nightfall. Also, freelance and capture zones return to Trials of Osiris at the weekend. Unclaimed Prime Gaming rewards expire soon, so make sure that you have collected any unclaimed rewards that are over a year old from Amanda Holiday in the Tower Hangar, as starting February 28th, these items will be removed. We only have 2 weeks left before Lightfall drops, so claim those rewards before they are gone. These include seasonal seals and rewards, Season of the Seraph pass items, any items left over from the Season of Plunder from Bungie.net, vendor rewards from Shax, Zavala, Drifter and Saint 14, and Banshee 44 reputation items. Also, don't forget we only have 2 more weeks of the season left for you to complete any missing moments of triumph for the previous year's activities, where you can earn in-game and Bungie store rewards. You can also join the Bungie Foundation in supporting the earthquake recovery work in Turkey and Syria. Guardians who donate $25 or more will earn the Compassionate Concentric emblem. Head on over to the link on screen to donate now. And that's it for our 11th week of Season of the Seraph. Thank you for watching. Allons-y!
Guardian down.